Good morning, greetings. Bonjour. Bonjour because we are talking about Schengen area, entry to Schengen area. So, like today, I will try and tell you people quickly that do it yourself, like arrangements, so that you can do yourself. So, I will be talking that how to apply for Schengen visa, because this is very commonly required for going to Switzerland or to France. And once I will be completing my today's talk, so I feel that you should not be then going to any agent or anybody, and do it yourself. Then I would be very happy, and then further, in case of any information required, you can always contact me. As I mentioned, subscribe, and I will be giving you my email ID also. So first of all, that requirement of what documents, this is very important, and I will be telling you so that you start collecting those documents, and in future also plan accordingly. I will go a little faster. So submission of form also, and then taking appointment from VFS, I will be covering that part also, so that from A to Z, like you are now planning to go there, and itinerary, and then going for VFS interview also, or submission of documents, and then getting your passport endorsed with Schengen visa. So now what happens that as far as Schengen is concerned, there are 27 countries which have allowed that free movement of anybody, means like tourist. Once you enter into one country, so there are 27 countries of European Union. Though there are 3-4 countries which have opted out, but 3-4 countries which are not part of European Union, they have joined Schengen visa. Schengen is a place in Europe. So in 1990 this treaty had happened. So accordingly, Schengen Agreement of 1985, since 1990 this convention is going on. So you will find that generally then what happens that some rules regulations keep changing. For example, earlier there were only 26 countries. Now even Croatia has joined. So just for your information, I will just flash. Croatia is there. Croatia was not there earlier. 1st January 2023 onwards, Croatia has also joined. And so you can go to these 27 countries very comfortably. And for applying for your application, that is a basic document which is required. You will have to go to france-visa.gouv.fr. You can do Google search for that site, that applying for. Why I am talking about France? Because there is one more point, that when you apply for Schengen visa, out of these 27 countries, you can apply through any country. But then you have to look for that country which is easier. The country which gives visa little easier. So these countries are France, Germany, and even Spain, Italy. So try and go enter through these countries. That would be better. And so France, because is at present having good relations even with other countries. So like I will be talking about going through France. So once you entered through France, then you can go to any other country. For example, when I had gone to France, then from France I went to Italy. So there was no need, no border checks, no immigration checks. Like a normal citizen of France or Europe, we were able to move around. But Ireland, though part of European Union, they have opted out. They said that we will have our own visa policy. So this you will have to keep it tag, or you can ask persons like me, professionals. So once you go to that site, that france-visa.gov.fr, then you will have to you will have to go for login. So for login, you will have to open your own profile, as we do. Login profile, and then you will have to go to your email. They will be checking your email, and then they will send you some password. Immediately you will have to change the password. That procedure is very easy. You can see that after creating an account. So then you have to check that what type of visa you are looking for, and means what type of visa means you are eligible for what type of visa. Suppose you are going only for like transit from airport, you are changing from you are reaching there from UK by some flight, and then you have to just change the flight. But still, once you are out of that airport, they have made the rules very difficult. So you will have to go for Schengen visa. But obtaining that Schengen visa would be very easy. So you just see that while filling form, that are you eligible for that category. But generally when I'm talking, I will be talking about Schengen short stay visa, that is 90 days you stay there, 90 days in 180 days. So like suppose in 1 year I've already done 85 days, but then again I am applying for Schengen visa. So then there is a calculator that you have to see that. Then as per calculator, if only 5 days are left in 180 days, so I will be getting only for 5 days, or they may not give me further visa. And as I mentioned to you, that policies keep changing, so you have to keep yourself abreast. Like Croatia, I gave you example. Even US, no, they have changed their website completely. So earlier website was there. Earlier the procedure of login was different, but now login procedure is different. When I will be talking about US visas, B1, B2 mainly, and even L1 or H1B visa, then I will be bringing out those points, and even for citizen and even EB5, that is investment visa, I will be talking, but separately. So one more point that I will remind you, because as I have advised that go without any agent or any consultant, that your passport should be there, and then obviously, but then passport has the expiry date should be 3 months more than that when your visa is expiring or when you are leaving the Schengen area. Generally they say 3 months, but try and keep it 6 months. For example, now if I am applying, then my passport should be having more than 6 months expiry date away. So then only I will be able to get. And one more point, that earlier you were not able to apply for Schengen visa if the period was like more than 3 months. But now they have changed it, like before 6 months you can always apply. Like this is now September, if after 6 months you are planning to go, so now you can apply. So you please see that option also and use it, because appointments become very difficult, especially for during summer season. Like Switzerland appointments, they open it and then completely they full it. They declare it that now we don't have any further vacancy for visa. So then it becomes very difficult to get visa. So remember these points. And then it should be having your passport some blank pages also. Obviously they expect 2 blank pages. Then you should be having your all supporting documents that I will be talking, that is important. I will be talking. So keep your original documents as well as photocopy of those documents. 2 photos are important again, because if photos are not proper, because photos should be like 6 months before that. It is not that 1 year back photo you are bringing. You may say that, sir, how will they come to know that it is 1 year or 2 years? What happens is sometimes if last year you have taken Schengen visa, so your photograph was there. Suppose you are utilizing the same photograph, so they can check it from their data that this is the same photograph which was given by you 1 year back. So better to avoid, otherwise honestly they will reject your visa and then again you are resubmitting and wasting time. So just remember that. And some specifications are there of photo that I will be talking about. Remember that if a child is between 6 to 12 years, then lower fees is there. Otherwise about 80 euro they charge or for short term visa and 90 euro for long term visa. But like I said, policies keep changing, just keep a tag. And even VFS people, service provider, either you can submit directly in few countries like Fiji country or some small countries, but in big countries like India, they've given this work delegated to service provider, that is VFS. So you have to submit through VFS. So they also charge some money. And one more point that I will be talking later on, that delivery of passport after endorsing, there are 2 ways, that either you go and collect yourself, but it is better that you pay little additional amount and then passport is delivered directly to your doorstep. So that you can do. Then biometric, if your child is more than 14, biometric is definitely required to be done between 14 years and 79 years. Below that, they can say that okay, we will avoid, or not required to be done. Only parents' biometric is good enough. For child, whenever you are taking, especially for long-term visa, and so remember that they are very particular about that child, both parents should be there, because due to dispute that who is keeping the child. So that happens, but that happens basically in long-term visa, and such visas for tourist visa, there are easier ways. And if child is less than 6 years, then visa is free, so you don't have to pay anything. Like photo I was talking about, I will just try and flash that photo. See, So these are the correct photos, and but I will be talking mainly that you understand that it should not be unnecessarily too far away or too close, but its size should be 35 to 40 mm. That is important. And remember that your face should be covering 70 to 80%. I remind you that it is not that I am trying to convey you. If you will not have that, definitely they will ask you to go and get yourself photographed. And photographers are available at VSF Delhi, I have seen, but they charge heavily, and then again you are wasting time. So try and do it yourself and go with proper photograph with 70 to 80% coverage of your face, and both the ears should be there, and try and avoid even wearing specs. That would be better. So short visa, like I mentioned to you, and it is uniform for 90 days, and airport transit visa, that is called ATV, and then short under 3 months, and then you can always go for medical visa or long stay exceeding 3 months, but there are some more documents required, some reasoning for that, from business reasoning. I will be talking about what type of documents are required. So French transit visa, like I mentioned to you, once you are passing through any French city, then that is required. French business, tourist or visitor visa, that is very important, generally used by most of the people. And French medical visa, also French study visa, and French visa for cultural, sports and film crews. So that is having like different type of, and then obviously you can understand that, for example, if somebody is going for cultural sports, so some documents will be required, that who is sending you, that who is entertaining you there, who has invited you, are you member of some team. So those things are required. So first of all, like I mentioned to you, first you fill in your visa application form. I will try and show you also wherever possible. Quickly I will show you, so that you have general idea about that what type of visa application form is coming. And 2 passport photos, though generally now only 1 photograph is required to be affixed over the form, but they say that 2, so try and take 2. Why try and take 2 photographs? Your valid passport and copies of your previous visas is important. Suppose you were earlier been to Schengen, you had Schengen visa or even other countries visa, then mainly Schengen they will be interested. So it would be easier for them to have that visa and then accordingly to give you. So remember that there is a psychology or what requirement, management requirement, when they look for documents for income tax returns and for other documents, your pension or your pay slip, your land, or like earlier Schengen visa. So what is the requirement? Requirement is only simple, that they want that the person should not be going and sticking there. Person should be returning back to their own country, because sometimes like through cultural people or sports people, they go there and they disappear in that country. So they don't want that. So if you have solid roots in your country, own country, you are working somewhere, you are holding some good official position, so then you will come back. Or earlier you had taken Schengen visa and then you had returned, so that means again you are likely to come back. So these points to be kept in mind. Otherwise, honestly, they are not asking for document and then income tax return, because they want that you should not be going and saying that no, I cannot return back because I don't have money. So that's why they have conveyed that this much of amount is required to be taken, or do pre-booking of hotels or even taxi and other elements, tickets. Return journey ticket is essential. One more point I will like to, there are 2 important points. One is that health insurance. Whenever you are going there, definitely they ask for health insurance. Health insurance for 30,000 euro. They say 30,000 to 50,000. So approximately 90 rupees is 1 euro. So you can understand that. Then that means about 5 lakh rupees health insurance is required, so that you have to come back or you have to undergo some medical treatment. So there is enough insurance coverage. So you have to take that insurance, and accordingly then you have to go. Another point, important point, I'm just saying that whenever you fill in your application form, there is a requirement of cover letter. This cover letter is very important. When I had gone, people don't bring cover letter, they bring other documents. Because through cover letter you are giving summary of your all documents, your previous like journey to Schengen area, to Schengen area, or like there is a one should be able to understand that you are conveying through cover letter that what all things required to be done, or what all like plus points you have. Like suppose you have some family person there, your daughter is there, or somebody distant relation. So you convey that the person is there. But remember that suppose you say your girlfriend is there, it is not a joke, and you are going there like French. So they may become suspicious that you will go and get married there and then you will not come back. So this point has to be kept in mind. Honestly, you should not be revealing your so many points. But in cover letter, definitely you say that in the last 5 years, you've been to what all countries. So that will make you a good impression. That you are having your own company, suppose in India, you have land, your own house, your bank statements. So that you summarize in that, in your cover letter. And say that you are working somewhere, so from your employer, no objection certificate. And that you are going after permission of employer. They definitely like it. Like it means sometimes they can reject also, or sometimes they may ignore, like I said, policies, or it depends on situation. But you have to be preparing for all those contingencies. So cover letter is very important, and then finally you must also mention that I am a law abiding person. I will come back and don't have to write that I will do business or I will do something. Then again you are indicating wrong thing. Like in Schengen, but in the US and other countries, they are very strict about it. If they get an indication that my daughter is there and she is pregnant, so they will reject your visa. They will say that give that job to local maid there, nanny there. Why are you going there? They will not allow. So please be careful of those aspects. And then round trip flight ticket definitely required. Proof of accommodation. See what happens that suppose some relative is there. So it is not that easy like India that you say that my relative is there and I will go and stay. The relative will have to go and inform their town hall and local authorities that so and so are coming, and then they will endorse it, town hall people. Then only you can go and stay with your relative. Otherwise you have to do the booking of hotels. Otherwise, and you cannot say that just I am saying. And when you have like they may check also when you reach there, that are you having that sufficient money with you, your forest card, that 120 euro per day, will you able to spend if you are not having hotel or cheap hotel also. So those means are definitely they will have to check and accordingly. And then one more point that about when you say that going with wife or something, then marriage certificate they will be seeing, that your civil status, birth certificate of your child. Like suppose I say that my child is there, so my name is mentioned in that passport or not, or birth certificate is required. So these documents, they have some interrelation with each other. So they are connected to each other. So accordingly, then you have to carry those documents. If employed, like I mentioned, employment contract, then you can. So they would be very happy that if you are employed, then you are not that without any job and you are going there. Income tax return, like leave permission, as I mentioned to you. If self-employed, then again your income tax return is required. Your company bank statement, suppose you say that I have company, so that registration of company, those papers will be required. And if you are a student, then proof of enrollment, no objection certificate from school or university. So those things required. And then for retired people, that is an add-on advantage, that if you are retired, then if you are having pension, then your PPO, pension pay order, or pension statement of last 6 months, that would be required. So basically it is a proof of the regular income you have. That if you are able to indicate, then it would be very good, and you are getting Schengen visa or any other visa also would be easier. So for child, like I mentioned to you, certified copies of ID, passport of both parents, that would be required. And French application form is also there for child. So for when the child is a minor, so when those documents are required to be signed. And when you are going for business, then obviously invitation letter is required, and from that business company which is calling you. And then memorandum and article of association is required, that your company or that is a registered company. Trade license, if need be, is required to be given. Proof of trip financing, that who is financing the trip. So these documents are required. And Official delegation, if you're saying that I'm going for official delegation, then official invitation copy required, and evidence of the purpose that you're going for conference, negotiation, meeting. So these documents it is not that imaginary, these are required, and these have some legal meaning also. So, and now once you are going for medical, because there are some situations when you have to go medical, then local medical report, medical attestation from the hospital or doctor, that is would be required. Receipt of medical fees that you have paid, official confirmation of treatment, appointment, proof that again you are that financially sufficient, you have sufficient financial status, that would be required. And and for cultural, if you go, then proof of your entry ticket for your return ticket, and then proof of previous performance, that earlier also then you had been taking part, it is not that first time you are going. So those will be required. Like filling of form, I will just show you. For filling of form, that try and show you that filling of form, so that what type of form is not difficult. So this is the form, like photograph will be attached here, and then you have to just fill in details. So like I mentioned to you, that don't worry too much about that, to your particulars. Remember that when there are boxes, you have to just tick, then be careful, because you will click wrong box, then your something is like a contradiction is there, what you said somewhere else, and again through box, so your visa will get rejected. Like so be careful for that. Otherwise then it is easy, your permanent address, and then you have to sign that, sign for minors, you have to parents to sign. Otherwise then in this last disclaimer type that they will be using your data, so that you have to convey okay. But here now I will again remind you, because after seeing this place and date is important, because in American visas is not required, but here in Schengen visa what happens that you have to submit your documents. So like for example, I am in Delhi at present, so I have to submit in Delhi, but Delhi I may not get appointment, so then I will like to submit to Jaipur or some other like place, say Hyderabad, after seeing appointment, or with my knowledge that they will not be having that much of rush. So I have to fill that form also of Jaipur or Hyderabad. I cannot do that I fill normal form of Delhi, because like I convey that I am from Delhi and I am filling Delhi form, and I take that form to during appointment, like when the stage of appointment comes, then I click to Jaipur, because Jaipur might be that having less rush. So they will again reject my form. So be careful, like decide in consultation with earlier experienced people, or just you have to think about it, that what is to be done, because in Delhi is definitely very busy. Or go 6 months in advance, like I mentioned to you earlier. French visa, then such type of French visa, then you have to group, and in a group like 2-3 applications can go, like yours, your family members. That is not a difficult thing to do. And as I mentioned to you that earlier, that some euros are required, so that is okay. 120 euros per day is okay. And then before booking your appointment, like I mentioned to you, now we have come to VFS site. Like I told you, after filling, one more point, that once you will complete this form at France or any other country's website, so you will not be able to take out printout. Means you will be able to take out printout, but then there will be mentioned that watermark would be there, that draft. So to remove that watermark, and you cannot use that form for going to any VFS center or any visa application center, VAC. So what is required to be done? They say that after filling form, then you go for appointment directly. From there you just click, and then the computer will take you to that site of appointment site. For example, in India, VFS. So there then you have to look for appointment, and you have to pay some money for VFS, and then some money is required to be paid when you go for VFS interview or submission of documents. So once you will complete that, take an appointment, then you come back to your country's website, like for example France I am talking about, and from then you take out printout, then that watermark will not come. You affix that photograph, and then like prepare your all documents, supporting documents. No need of making any file, because when you go to VFS or other VAC, visa application centers, they will take out all the documents, they will put as per their requirement, and they will open up your file. So don't waste your time, but put it in a sequence, and you should be knowing that your passport copies are there, your previous Schengen visas are there. And as I mentioned to you, in India there are many places where you can go for Schengen visa, like Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Cochin, and even Mumbai, New Delhi, Puducherry, Pune, Hyderabad, like I was mentioning, Gurugram also. So and Monday to Friday they work. There is a common sense. One more very important point I am trying to say, that which agents they try and charge more money for that reschedule. See what happens, that suppose you are filling your form and then you get an appointment. Say now this is month of September, but you get appointment in the month of December. So don't be worried about that part. You just take that appointment. Then after that you keep going to VFS site. Then option of reschedule keeps coming. Then you will find that from December you should be able to get in October or November. So reschedule option to be utilized by you. Otherwise, sometimes if you are not doing, like I am experienced that earlier, agents will approach you. They will say, we have some known people in VFS or in France embassy. We will manage. You give us some more money. No, it is nothing happening. They are doing through this reschedule option. So please be aware. And then submission of fees and passport, then you submit your complete fees there, and then they take your passport also, like I was mentioning earlier. And then monitoring and tracking. See, here again I will say with my experience that when you do monitoring and tracking, then honestly don't waste too much of time, because once you are spending money and going abroad, then there are options that SMS they charge little more money, or sending email. You take that option. So automatically you will keep getting, and they are very efficient in that. That quickly, as soon as you will say that yes, we have sent your passport and your application to now Delhi will say we have sent it to embassy. So they keep informing you. So there are no problems for that. Now one more point about tracking also, then automatically you keep getting alerts. So there are no problems. One more point I was trying to say, that I have been talking about online application, and there is an option that offline also. But though generally it is not preferred nowadays, and it is easier to go through online, because automatically you are feeding information to them, and that becomes easier for them also. Otherwise, there is an option that offline also you take out form, like I mentioned to you earlier, start filling form. Then you without submitting it. After taking appointment, you take appointment and then go with the appointment letter to VFS. So then they check back, and it becomes slightly lengthy process. So try and go through online process. So now next point is, then like I told you, I will try and summarize that. Identify visa type, what type of visa is required, begin your application, and like some period you already spent, then use Schengen visa calculator, book an appointment to pre-decided city. It is important, like I mentioned to you, that you should not be taking appointment to Chennai and then you are thinking that taking this form and going there. Honestly, you will be in very embarrassing situation. Though there are sometimes people accommodate, they say that okay, you refill the form, but not Delhi, you change it to Chennai. But again, you are wasting time, you may not have that documents, and honestly panic will be there. So I'm just advising you in advance that you fill in form and take appointment to pre-decided city. And then remember to use reschedule option if need be. Pay your fees and visit a visa center. And while visiting visa center, remember those security regulations that you cannot carry your mobile, so you will have to keep somewhere. Or even corona is there, then wearing mask. So just reminding you that remember those security regulations and then go. Then your track application. So track application, as I mentioned to you, through SMS, email is better. And then collect your passport. You can go to collect once you receive that your passport has come, it is endorsed, suppose in Delhi, it has reached there. So either you go there if you have time, or you have it delivered. They are very efficient, within a day they deliver, a day or maximum 2 days. Now, one more point I will try to tell you that in case of refusal, because generally people talk about that, there are options that in case of refusal also, you contact me because I'm a tribunal judge and lawyer as far as immigration is concerned, international lawyer. So not only like me or any other like person who has experience and who is legally qualified for that. So in case of refusal, basically refusal happens. I will advise that you go for a refusal option in case of say visiting visa or some other type of medically something has happened, some wrong or some mistake has been done. Then you go for or long-term visa. Otherwise, for minor things, if you feel that there is some mistake or some documentary mistake was there, then there is no point. But otherwise, European law and French law or any other country's law, they have to convey you that why they have refused. They are very particular and honest about that. So you can always ask for it. So you may ask me that, sir, then how will we come to know that our visa has been refused? So you wait for 2 months after submission. You may get, you should be getting your reply or endorsed visa in your passport within 15 days or 1 month. But if you don't get by 2 months, then you should know that there is some problem. You approach them, you ask for your passport, so you have to take your passport back, and then you can always go for that. In case of refusal, then you can always go and represent. And before the Commission of Appeals for long stay visa, Commission of Appeals they call it. But then you will have to sign in a French document or that country, whichever country, Spain or Italy, their document. And then it goes to administrative judge, like tribunal judge as we call in India, like I am doing arbitration or tribunal judge duties. So they have administrative judges. So then your matter goes there. But if you have short stay visa, then it goes to deputy director of visas. So that it becomes easier. Then they ask for it, or some arguments, or it is conveyed that some mistake was there, and some as per clause. So we are resubmitting. So accordingly, then generally they consider also till the time something very serious is not there, they entertain. So here I will say that share, subscribe, and so you will be getting more informative updates. So accordingly, then keep on doing that. And then finally, I will say that my contact number is there mentioned here. That's Sethi Punit 24@gmail.com for any advice, for any clarifications, for any legal remedies, like I mentioned to you. So you can always contact me, and through my YouTube channel also. So wish you all the very best. Thank you. Mercy Bekub, and wishing you happy and safe travel in Schengen area. Bye-bye. Bye.